Hello everyone, and welcome to a trash summary of Week 14 in the Overwatch League, plus the Community MVP results from this week. The primary highlights from this week were Seoul Dynasty upshotting Shanghai, Stratus from the Washington Justice retiring on a win, and the new Vancouver Titans making their debut. Moving into the first match, which is the first highlight, the Shanghai Dragons were defeated by the Seoul Dynasty 2-3. Shanghai won on Lijiang Tower 2-0, but then Seoul took Rialto 1-2 and Kings Row 4-5. Shanghai would take Anubis 2-1, but Seoul would win the match by taking Busan 1-2. This left Shanghai's record at 9 wins and 2 losses with a map ratio of positive 20, and they would play again the next day against Hangzhou. While Seoul were left at 4 wins and 3 losses with a map ratio of positive 1, and since they didn't have any more matches left for the week, after all the matches from the other teams had been completed, they were left in 6th. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Fitz got the 3 points with his percentage of 45.9, Bedosen got the 2 with a percentage of 40.5, and Prophet got the 1 with a percentage of 32.4. Moving on to the second match of the day. The Chengdu Hunters were defeated by the London Spitfire 0-3. London won on Lijiang Tower 1-2, Junkertown 0-3, and Blizzard World 1-3. This left Chengdu's record at 3 wins and 9 losses, with a map ratio of negative 12. They didn't have any more matches, and after all the matches had been completed, they were left in 18th. While London were left at 4 wins and 2 losses, with a map ratio of positive 1, and they would play again the next day against the Guangzhou Charge. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Glister got the 3 points with his percentage of 59.4, Aldo got the 2 points with his percentage of 56.3, and Bernard got the 1 point with his percentage of 35.4. Moving on to the third match of the week. The Guangzhou Charge defeated the New York Excelsior 3-1. Guangzhou won on Nepal 2-0, but then New York took Watchpoint Gibraltar 2-3. Guangzhou would then take Kings Row 3-1 and Anubis 3-2 to win the match. This match left Guangzhou's record at 6 wins, 6 losses, and map ratio negative 4, and they would play again the next day against the London Spitfire. While New York were left at 8 wins and 3 losses with a map ratio of positive 16, and after all the matches of the weekend had been completed, they were left in 4th. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Nero got the 3 points with his percentage of 66.7. Kron got the 2 points with his percentage of 48.5. And Eileen got the 1 point with his percentage of 36.4. Moving on to the first NA match of the week. The Paris Eternal defeated the Los Angeles Gladiators 3-1. The Gladiators won Oasis 0-2, but then Paris took Junkertown 3-2, Hollywood 2-1, and Volskaya 3-2 to win the match. This left Paris' record at 6 wins and 5 losses, with a map ratio of positive 2, and after all the matches had been played, they were left in 9th. While the Gladiators were left at 4 wins and 4 losses, with a map ratio of negative 1, and they were left in 11th after all the matches had been played. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Fielder got the 3 points with his percentage of 62.9. Hanbin got the 2 points with his percentage of 45.7. And No Spike got the 1 point with his percentage of 42.9. Moving on to Stratus' retirement match. The Washington Justice defeated the Vancouver Titans 3-1. Washington won on Busan 2-1, then Junkertown 3-2. Vancouver would take Hollywood 2-3, and then Washington finished the match by taking Anubis 2-1. This left Washington's record at 3 wins and 9 losses, with a map ratio of negative 14, and after all the matches of the weekend had been played, they were left in 19th. While the Vancouver Titans were left at 2 wins and 3 losses with a map ratio of negative 3, and they will play again the next day against the Florida Mayhem. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Stratus got the 3 points quite easily with his percentage of 88.6. Elivo got the 2 points with his percentage of 37.1, and Dalton got the 1 point with his percentage of 31.4. Moving on to the 6th match of the week. The Houston Outlaws were defeated by the Atlanta Reign 0-3. Atlanta won Oasis 0-2, Watchpoint 2-3, and Kings Row 2-3. This left Houston's record at 4 wins and 9 losses, with a map ratio of negative 12, and after all the matches of the weekend had been played, they were left in 17th. While Atlanta were left at 5 wins and 4 losses with a map ratio of positive 8, and after all the matches of the weekend had been played, they were left in 8th. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Edison got the 3 points with his percentage of 58.1. Gator got the 2 points with his percentage of 45.2. And Baby Bay got the 1 point with his percentage of 41.9. Moving on to the last match in day 1 of NA. The Los Angeles Valiant defeated the Boston Uprising 3-0. They won Oasis 2-0, Junkertown 1-0, and Kings Row 3-2. This left the Valiant's record at 4 wins, 6 losses, with a map ratio of -5, and they were in 14th after the rest of the matches had been played. While Boston were left at 1 win, 10 losses, map ratio of -25, and they were left in 20th after the rest of the matches had been played. Moving on to the community MVP votes. KSP got the 3 points with his percentage of 84.4, Shax got the 2 points with his percentage of 56.3, and McGravy got the 1 point with his percentage of 50. Moving on to the first match of day 2. The Hangzhou Spark were defeated by Shanghai Dragons 0-3. Shanghai won on Nepal 0-2, Watchpoint 2-3, and Kings Row 1-3. This left Hangzhou's record at 5 wins and 6 losses, with a map ratio of -5, and they were left in 12th after the rest of the matches had been completed. While Shanghai were left at 10 wins and 2 losses, with a map ratio of +23, and they were left in 2nd after the rest of the matches had been played. Moving on to the community MVP votes, Lip got the 3 points with his percentage of 71.4. Floater got the 2 points with his percentage of 53.6, and Void got the 1 point with his percentage of 46.4. Moving on to the second Asian match of the day. The London Spitfire were defeated by the Guangzhou Charge 1-3. Guangzhou won on Oasis 0-2, but then London took Junkertown 2-1. Guangzhou would finish off the match though by taking Kings Row 2-3 and Volskaya 0-2. This left London's record at 4 wins and 3 losses, with a map ratio of -1, and after the rest of the matches had been played, they were left in 7th. While Guangzhou, they were left at 7 wins and 6 losses, with a map ratio of -1, and after all the matches had been played, they were left in 10th. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Nero got the 3 points with his percentage of 51.7. Glister got the 2 points with his percentage of 41.4, and Krong got the 1 point with his percentage of 37.9. Moving on to the 10th match of the week. The Dallas Fuel were defeated by the Philadelphia Fusion 1-3. Philadelphia took Busan 1-2, but then Dallas took Watchpoint 4-3. Philadelphia would then take Blizzard World 2-3, and Anubis 3-4 to win the match. This left Dallas's record at 4 wins and 5 losses, with a map ratio of -2, and after all the matches of the weekend had been played, they were left in 13th. While Philadelphia were left at 11 wins and 1 loss, with a map ratio of +21, and after the rest of the matches of the weekend had been played, they were left in 1st. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Carpe got the 3 points with his percentage of 47.2. Fury got the 2 points with his percentage of 37.9, and Funny Asher got the 1 point with his percentage of 36.1. Moving on to the second last match of the week. The Toronto Defiant were defeated by a San Francisco Shock 1-3. Toronto took Oasis 2-1, but then the Shock took Rialto 4-5, Kings Row 5-6, and Hanamura 0-1. This left Toronto's record at 4 wins and 7 losses, with a map ratio of -5, and after the next match had been played, they were left in 15th. While the Shock were left at 7 wins and 2 losses, with a map ratio of +12, and after the last match had been played, they were left in 3rd. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Moth got the 3 points with his percentage of 63.9. Rascal got the 2 points with his percentage of 52.8, and Choyobin got the 1 point with his percentage of 47.2. Moving on to the final match of the weekend. The Florida Mayhem defeated the Vancouver Titans 3-0. Florida took Ilios 2-0, Junkertown 4-3, and Hollywood 3-0. This left Florida's record at 6 wins and 4 losses, with a map ratio of +7, and this left them in 5th in the standings. While Vancouver were left at 2 wins and 4 losses, with a map ratio of -6, and this left them 16th in the standings. Moving on to the MVP votes. Yaki got the 3 points with his percentage of 88.6. BQB got the 2 points with his percentage of 48.6, and Gangnam Jin got the 1 point with his percentage of 42.9. Moving on to the Overwatch League standings. Philly remain in first, while Shanghai remain in second. The Shock are up 1 spot to third, while the Excelsior are down 1 spot to fourth. The Mayhem are up 2 spots to fifth, while the Dynasty are up 3 spots to sixth. London are down 2 spots to seventh, while the Rain remain in eighth, and the Eternal remain in ninth. Guangzhou are up 4 spots to 10th, while the Los Angeles Gladiators are down 5 spots to 11th. The Spark are up 1 spot to 12th, while the Fuel are down a whopping 4 spots to 13th. The Valiant are up 2 spots to 14th, while the Defiant remain in 15th. The Vancouver Titans are down 4 spots to 16th, while 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th all remain the same from last week, being Houston, Chengdu, Washington, and Boston. Moving on to the top 10 in the community MVP votes. Carfe remains in first on 30 points. Flutter remains in second on 22 points. Nero is in third now, up 2 spots on 20 points. Decay is in fourth, down 1 spot on 18 points. Lip remains in fifth on 17 points. Exy is down 2 spots to 6th on 15 points. Jinmo is down 2 spots to 7th. Jeranak is also down 2 spots to 7th. And Glister is a new addition to the top 10, and they are all on 14 points. While Gooseway, KSP, and Yaki are all tied in 10th on 13 points. If you want to read the top 10 in the DPS, tank, and support lines, pause the video and read them now. Thank you to the 48 people who voted in this week's community MVP poll, and thank you to everyone who has watched the video, and please subscribe.